You're on mute.
Yeah, no, I was asking Shubham if his audio is. Oh, now it's fine. Yeah.
Did she receive it?
Proper record. नहीं, I think मेल नहीं गया है.
वो इनवाइट अपडेट हो गया होगा, उसको कैलेंडर से चेक करने बोलना ना कि
हाँ तो
कैलेंडर
सब
से.
Hello.
हाँ वो तो अपडेट हो गया है. I can see the updated version also. She joined.
इनवाइट पे अपडेट हो गया ना लिंक.
हाँ
मेघा.
हाँ हाँ.
हाँ कैलेंडर इनवाइट पे हो गया बट कैन वी सेंड एन ईमेल?
Sure. Will you be able to send it, Ishana?
Yep. Via Luma only, no?
You can download it as well. Do you want the list? Okay, we have Pran also here.
Yeah. Shubham, can you make me the host?
Yeah, wait. Okay, myself and not the host. Are you getting? Give me 1 sec.
Can we open the waiting room, please? Not a host. I am not a host yet, Shubham. Hi, Hardik. Hi,
Hi, good afternoon,
Parul.
everyone.
Hi, good evening. So we will start at 4. There's still some time. What we can do is put some of you in waiting room if you don't want to get in and log in again. But we're still doing some tech checks and we'll take us 10 minutes to start.
Yes, works for me.
Sure. Thanks a lot. I've enabled a waiting room and I'll put you there if that's okay. Parul for you as well. We'll also check why our audios are echoing, right? Thanks a lot. Shubham Prakash. ठीक है.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah. कहीं से echo हो रहा था यार. शुभम तू बात
अब
कर
नहीं
रहा
होगा.
क्या आ गया क्या 2 घंटे में यार?
हाँ यार. नहीं, ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है. I just.
I haven't checked my camera yet. Nice.
Ishana, can you make a message with the link to register, for that video with predefined project and the feedback form itself? Okay, can you make a message that you can fill the feedback form here and
Yep.
register for predefined projects here, right? And keep on circulating it after 3-4 messages at the end. Okay.
Yep. You want to circulate the registration form with the predefined projects also separately or add it in the feedback form only in the end?
अच्छा, feedback form में डाल नहीं, but some people might not fill feedback
I'll
form
circulate separately also. ठीक है.
separately also, right? Like you got the link from Anjali, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you edit it?
Can somebody send me the feedback form?
Yep, just sharing that. I'm sharing the link in this chat only with you. Yeah.
Do it.
Share.
What is happening? Are you editing that work?
Which one?
Because I was editing it. I thought you were not editing it, right? अच्छा कर लो you edit it. I'll edit the text. जल्दी 1 मिनट में करना. Play lab in बचपन या इंडिया रिसाइकल्स in बचपन डालना. ठीक है. Okay. And first one should be बचपन, then SCF and then अरे edit मत करना, वो वैसे ही रहने दो, सही था प्ले लैब का. बस ऑर्डर चेंज कर दो. ठीक है. हाँ, अभी टेक्स्ट भी तो एडिट करना है ना. लीला एंड बचपन, बचपन being first and बाकी दोनों नीचे. ओके. मेगा, हेलो.
हाँ.
Cool. What I am going to do is now ये क्या कह रहा था मैं, उसके लिए जो SOPs बनाना है ना, उस पे फन नहीं रख रहा हूँ. However, I have downloaded this ये Sashi Tharoor का एक वीडियो, so we'll be analyzing that. Okay.
I also sent Alia Bhatt video. यार ये Google Form का मुझे edit access दोगे क्या?
Ishana, can you share that?
Sure. Give me 1 second. I'll share the.
To edit.
Mega received it. I sent it. Like shared, added you as a collaborator there.
I will edit it once Shubham starts speaking and I am done speaking. I need to change थोड़ा वो.
Okay.
I'm checking. हाँ. ठीक है, आ गया मेरे पास. कुछ और शेयर करना है guys?
यार और तो कुछ नहीं है. हमने ईमेल भेजना था, ईमेल भेज दो क्या?
Give me 1 second. एक बार
Okay. क्या क्या काम पेंडिंग है गाइस जो अभी हम ऑन द स्पॉट कर रहे हैं? मैं अपने बाल ठीक कर रही हूँ बस. लेकिन
ओके, मैंने ईमेल भेज दिया, रिमाइंडर. इट विल गो इन 1 मिनट टू एवरीवन. ओके.
ठीक है. Now Shubham, I think you need to look less worried.
Look less
And your
what?
team needs to panic less. I think a lot. Are there too many things pending क्या?
नहीं, डोंट वरी. वो चीज सॉर्ट हो जाएगा.
हाँ.
Shubham, in that mail body, I'm adding the link to the meeting as well, the reminder mail.
अभी ठीक है. ओके, चलो.
Just to be
फुल
sure.
एडिटेड.
Should we allow people in?
Can we put a music by any chance? या मैं ही कर दूँ क्या? कोई गाना बताना.
I don't know, yeah. Not my. Oh.
What will you say? Yes, no, कुछ बोल.
I don't know music. I can't do last minute things, and my music taste is really bad. I think let's just join in, and I'm happy to engage.
Okay, ठीक है.
Cool. I'm getting a phone call, which is a spam. My camera got stuck.
Are you able to listen to music?
Yeah.
ठीक है, cool. मैंने बहुत हल्का लगा दिया ताकि you can also speak.
ठीक है. Okay. 10 minutes. Let's all the best. My audio and my video aren't matching. Okay. Let's open. Hi everyone. Thanks for joining in. Thanks for joining before time. Actually, I know some of us were here 10 minutes, 15 minutes before, and then were kind enough to move into waiting room. Thank you for that. I'll let everyone join in and connect to audios, and then we can start in a while. While we are joining, can I please request everyone to also edit your participant name, similar to how I have done. My name is Megha. I am from IWT. If you can also edit your names with your organization. If you don't know how to do that, you can go to participants, click on your name, click on more and edit your name. Hi everyone. Thank you for joining. Can we all quickly rename ourselves, please? Athar, hi, happy to see you here. Could you also put your name, your organization name? Hi, that you're from Pran. Hi, Tanya. Love that you're already from Red Dot Foundation. Hi, Smita.
Hi.
Hi, I'll switch on my video, but my video has a thing where it does not match my audio and video. I haven't figured it out yet why it happens. So we'll wait for a few more seconds for people to join in. Somebody put me on spotlight. Thanks. Okay, thanks everyone. I think we'll wait for 1 more minute.
Yep.
Gitesh, thank you. I see you're from Dhwani. And I saw Ashwin here as well. Ashwin, if you're here, hi.
Hi Megha, how are you?
Very well.
Hi
Good
Shubham.
to see you here.
Hope
Yes.
you're doing good.
Hello, yes, fine.
Hi, so
Same,
for
good
those
to see you.
who used to work with us before. Great. Full circle, Ashwin, from hosting webinars to doing webinars with us. Hi, Ramesh. Hi. Can you also put which organization you're from? Yes, you will get the recording if you fill out the feedback form.
But I think I would suggest you to still attend it.
Hi,
so that
Alex.
you can ask questions.
Yes. Hi, Ame. Good to see you with Project Mumbai. Okay, great. Shubham, do you think we should get started?
Sure. Yep.
I think it's 4 and we should start on time, so we end on time.
Great.
I didn't put you on spotlight. Whoever is doing this from the We Do Good team, please stop. Yeah, sure. Thanks everyone. Thanks for joining us on a Friday evening. It's on a Thursday evening. I'm so sorry. I am very lost. I was traveling for a lot of meetings and I don't know if it's Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. But love that. And if you think that Thursday 4 p.m. for webinars don't work for you, if at all you think so, please do add that in your feedback form response, so we can next time maybe not schedule it. But if you think it works great, please do add that, so that people who tell us it doesn't work, we can give them a proof that it does. Thanks. I'll get started now, Shubham. Hi everyone, my name is Megha. I work with India Welfare Trust. This is an EIV webinar hosted by We Do Good and the Every Indian Volunteering Community. AIV webinars are learning sessions that we host for our community, where we invite people from community who manage volunteers at scale to come and share their learnings around volunteer management or anything that will help you effectively manage a lot more volunteers than what you already do. We've already done 2 more sessions on AI tools. One was around how do you manage your volunteers effectively using AI tools. The other one was around how do you create content around volunteer management using AI tools. You can find the recordings of those on our YouTube channel, and we can share the links as well. This is a final series in the AI tools webinar that we're doing with We Do Good, where we'll talk more about how do you increase your efficiency and energize your team, as Shubham likes to say it. Over to Shubham. If you've attended our previous webinars, you know who Shubham is. Shubham is the founder of We Do Good, and he has done some excellent webinars with us in past. And he was a consultant with Mastercard for 5 years, and then decided to switch and do this full time with this initiative. He can talk a little bit more about that while he helps us understand AI tools better in a more fun way. Over to you, Shubham. Thanks for doing this.
Great. Thanks a lot, Megha. Cool. Thanks a lot, Megha, and thanks a lot, everyone. I see around 45 folks over here. So thanks a lot for joining this fine Thursday evening. Like, we were not sure if this is the right time, but yeah, you can share that on feedback. So I'll share my screen and I think we can get started. One comment and one help that I need from you is, like, if some of you can, like, if you can be on video, that would be really helpful. It really helps me understand on whether you are getting it and probably like change anything that's needed. Also, I would like to share, like, I'll probably be asking questions, just trying to understand whether it's making sense, whether you have used certain things or not. So I would like you to be active on chat so that at least I can get feedback too, right? And I'm able to curate the content better, right? Like, so just 2 basic things. And if possible, I would love if you can do that. Great. Moving forward, I'm going to share my screen. Good. I see a couple of you coming on video. Thanks a lot. Hardik, many others that I can see over here. I'm sharing my screen. Let me know if you all are able to see it. Is it visible? Great. Thank you. So as Megha mentioned, today's session is the 3rd of the series, where the focus is more on improving productivity and efficiency itself. Cool. I'll start with myself and We Do Good. Like, I see some of new participants over here who have not joined the previous 2 sessions. So I'm Shubham. Like, as Megha mentioned, I'm the founder of We Do Good. We Do Good is a skilled volunteering platform where we actually empower social impact organization, be it NGOs as well as social ventures, by connecting them with skilled professionals to amplify their impact. A few examples where we can help you with is marketing, technology, strategy. If you need someone who has experience from the corporate sector, come there, like, come with you and kind of help you with certain things. Like, we are there to help you with that, right? Like, so that's in brief about We Do Good itself. I'll come to the session, like the series itself. So as I mentioned, this is the 3rd session of the series. if I talk about the last two sessions, the first session was the basic AI tools for not-for-profits. What we did was that we covered some of the tools which can really help individuals improve their productivity, and you are able to navigate things better. We spoke about ChatGPT. We like focused a lot on prompt generation and how we can do that. There was discussion around that there are many tools existing. So we spoke about modern AI, which is a composition of 10, 15 different tools, and you can kind of access over there itself. And then the last being bot hunt, from where I actually find a lot of these different tools too, right? Like, so this was the first session, right, where we very basic, we tried to cover like some of the basic aspects. The second session that we did was around AI for content creation and marketing. The whole idea was that if you see current right-time YouTubers, social media agencies and all that, they all have started using like AI for their marketing and content generation purposes. So we discussed like what are the ways in which like we as sector can also use it. So we covered few tools around writing, copywriting, image generation, video generation, and advanced tools covering all the content itself. Like we covered tools like ChatGPT, Midjourney, and couple of advanced tools like Copy.ai and Hummingway and all, right? One of the feedbacks, I'll ask one of my team members to share the link in case any one of you are looking forward to view these sessions. These are all there on YouTube. One of the feedbacks that we received is that like sometimes you don't know whether you should invest in that tool. Some of these tools were premium and you had to pay for it. So this two solution that I'm coming up with today I'll only be covering free or freemium tool, something that you and your team can use without any cost. You might have to probably create multiple accounts after you exhaust the credits in one account, but all the tools that we cover today are free of cost. The second thing is a lot of tools, if premium, are very customized to the use case, right? For example, we as a team use ChatGPT Premium and Midjourney, two tools which really serve us well, as well as something called as Sybil. Like in case like you want to explore what is something best for your organization, I have some offering which I'll cover at the end as well, in which how I can help you too, right? So coming on to the agenda for today, right? Okay. Are we recording the call, Nika? Can we record this? Great. Okay. So coming on to the agenda for today, we have three agenda points for today itself. The first one is how to create structure in your organization, right? Like a lot of us are doing 10 different things and we have to pass on knowledge and details to the team itself. Right? Like, so we have to pass on knowledge and details to the team. How can we do that? How can we create structures and systems so that people are able to do it? And we'll cover one tool which really helps organization create it in a very easy way. The second one is how to present yourself better, how to speak yourself, how to do that. So we have a tool which can really help you present your ideas well, tell you how you can speak and all that. And then I think a lot of us, like a primary tool that we have been using, if I ask a lot of you, is going to be in Excel and all. So we'll figure out how to traverse any data using Excel and SQL, identifying the formulas and all that, right? So if this makes sense and if this is clear, can I get some yes on the chat box or good to go? Great, I see a couple of messages. Thanks a lot. Cool. So I have a question for you. How many of you have to train or instruct volunteers / employees in your organization, right? Like how many of you have to do that on a regular basis? Okay, I see Pooja raising her hand. Anyone else? You can put it on chat box as well. Smita says volunteers. Alex says yes. Megha says yes. Mrinal says yes. Okay, great. Thanks a lot, right? Like, so I love this energy and let's continue this energy for next 1 hour at least, right? And how do you generally go about it? So, like, can we get some answers on how do you do it? Like, do you generally create a video? Do you create a document? How do you go about it? Maybe in very small words, can you put it in chat box? Okay, Megha says that she does a virtual 2-day orientation, PowerPoint presentation and video, doc and calls, right? Virtual or in-person inductions, PPT, doc and calls. Okay, micro learning plus blended learning, PPT, right? PPT calls. Okay, thanks for sharing that. Right, like so. If I understand, right, like I've tried to analyze like how organizations have been doing it. So it's somewhat on the similar lines, right? Like so, there's definitely in-person meeting where you go and train people. But for that to retain, like what people have been doing is that they have started recording calls, right? Like one way is you record the whole calls via this system itself where we put it on YouTube and take it forward. Some of the other tools which have been very famous across industries, right? I'm not just saying social industry, but across all industries are Loom, screen recording. It's called Screen Rec, and then Vidyard. What these do is that you can go on a tool, you can basically record a call. If you have to do certain things, you kind of do that and then pass it on, right? Like so that is how you kind of train or pass on instructions to certain people in general, right? Some of the other methods that I've seen is people creating documents like on PPTs, SOPs, and all that in general, right? Like, so these are pieces where like you create documents and do that, right? So I actually have a very nice tool which I found so earlier we used to do both. We generally used Loom and we created SOPs in documents or PPTs to share with people on what they have to do and sometimes also give content in general. But something which we figured out sometime back was ScribHow. This is a tool which will really change the way you can share the information with that. So I'll move on to ScribHow screen. Are you are you able to see my screen?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, great, cool. I'll start with basic because some of you mentioned that how to go about it. So I'll log out and then I can show you how to, at a very basic level, also sign up. So in case you have to sign up, the whole process is very simple. First of all, this tool is free, so don't worry, you don't have to choose personal. It is even free for teams for certain usage and all. So feel free to click on work and then go ahead. You can click on building training materials, assisting customers, creating SOPs. For me personally, creating SOPs was something which was really helpful. You can also use it to onboard new hires and create certain things, or you have to answer questions in a mass via sending videos or sharing documents. You can do it from here. Select it, mention what is your company details and all, nothing as such. You just enter your work email and create, as you can do it with a password, or you can just do a Google sign in, and that is how you can sign in. Very basic, very easy upfront, nothing as such. I log back to my account. So I log into my account again because I've already signed in before. Great. So what should we do today, right? Like, so I created certain like this thing in like my dry run. Let me do something different, right? Let's suppose we are okay. Let's do this only first, and then we can think of other things. So I'll give you a little bit of context, right? Like, so we do a lot of different projects, and what happens is that like we have a team member who is actually who's supposed to check the weekly meetings that's happening for each project, and then identifying that whether the volunteer has been participative or not, whether they lost interest or motivation in general, and then kind of update it into the CRM systems so that we are able to, for example, check like how the system is. So if you see, we enter comments, we enter the catch up, like we enter the date, and then we enter how the organization was functioning and volunteer was functioning according to certain systems. So this is the use case that we have. Now we are trying to create an SOP document so that we are able to take it forward. So I'll start with Sybil. So this is a tool that we use to actually record the calls, right? Like, so every call or every project that happens, our calls are recorded, and we have a system through which we are able to check, for example, like how the processes are happening and all. So I'll come here, I'll click on like starting a new like new recording or new SOP. I'll go to Civil, which is the, so every recording, whatever I'm doing is going to be from this tab itself, right? I do not have to go to any other tab. Now, let's suppose I'm going to like start this SOP. I say that, okay, this is the call that you have to document. So go and click on this call. See what's happening, right? Like, so see what was the overall conversation, whether the next steps made sense, right? Like probably Ritesh Kala was the volunteer. So what was his talking time? Many a times people don't turn on their video, so we do not get their engagement rate. But this tool tells what the engagement rate is and all that, right? Like, so see how much they spoke, how much they were engaged, right? You can also see the next steps and figure out like where the project has been. So if the project has moved to the next step, what all things have been completed. So the person goes and they have to look over the outcome, see the outcome of the call, see the next steps of the call, and figure out whether the call made sense, identify whether the talk time was nice and whether people were figured out. So check the talk time. Once you have figured this out, go to the CRM that we have, right? Like, so go to the CRM. CRM is the content management system that we have. Go to the different projects that we have. So go to the project that you are doing. So let's suppose we are doing this We Do Good fundraising project, and this recording was for that. Go to client communication. This is the place where we actually enter every project call details. So we enter whatever it is. Now we go into adding a new row, right? Like, so how do we add a row? So we click on here. We enter the comments. Call went great. People discussed about new program. Then enter the date of the catch-up, whatever it was. Rate how much people were participating. So the organization was participative. For 3 stars, rate how much volunteer was participated. So 4 star or 5 star. Okay. And then just save it, right? So this is something that you have to do for every project at the end of every week. So this is how you will do, and you will be done with the call, right? Now, this was the whole process for which I wanted to create an SOP. I wanted people to follow. So this is the step that I did, and then I'll click on complete capture. So you can change it with anything. You can change it with a training. You can change it with a system. You can change it with anything else, right? Now, since I selected an SOP, what like Scribhow did was it created an SOP for it itself, right? Like, so it captured images at the right point of time whenever we were supposed to do certain things. It showed the areas on what to look over and then added the details, right? Like, so if you see, start looking for a senior marketing person or whatever, like it's showing me what I'm speaking and all that stuff, right? Like, so now if I have to edit it, because it won't be perfect, you can actually change it, right? Like, so go to Sybil, right? Open link, and you can go here and update the link as well. So update here. So this will be this. So this becomes the first step. Click on the project that you are looking forward to. Right? So this is the project that you are looking on to. Click on volunteer. Then identify their like engagement and motivation scores, right? Judge the rating based on that, right? So if you see, you can add all the steps, whatever it is, and then create a whole document. So I'm not, in the interest of time, I'm not going to do this for all the steps. But if you see, right, like you can actually add step by step to it, and people will be able to follow it accordingly, right? Like, so I'll click on done editing. Once it's done, it creates a whole document with 24 steps, how much time it will take and how to go about it, right? And I can go and share it. So if I have to share, I can just create anyone with link can view, right? And I can copy the link, right? By the way, if you are doing like a browser recording or a browser training kind of a thing, it can do as many number of like SOPs or trainings as much as possible. So you are able to create systems and structures which can be shared with someone very quickly, right? So this was the first tool, right? I would like to hear or whether this was whether this was helpful or not. Like, have you guys created any SOP like this, which probably might have taken hours to do that, and whether this was something that could really help? Can I see some comments? Abhijit says, I'm assuming that the notes generated by AI are available for editing, just in case few edits are identified. So, Abhijit, the other tool, Sybil, that was there, it's a call recording tool, right? Like you can use anything else that's there. It could be, for example, Read, it could be Fireflies, it could be Author, it could be something else in general. We use Sybil because we get motivation score and engagement score as well. But yeah, that's great, Sorna, right? Like, so what it does is that it creates the mix of both document as well as video. So it has images, it has the text written there, it has the links and all that, so that you are able to kind of create it very quickly, right? I would suggest for you to go there once and then work on the training aspect of things. In training, it shows very nicely one aspect and the second aspect, and then take it forward to the SOP piece is very nice. I think at least for systems and processes, you can create all these systems, and then you can also add a tracker, right? Like, so like how in McDonald's, you every time you go, you always get the perfect burger, right? It's because they have a right system. So you can create systems along these SOPs, and then you can kind of take it forward from there itself, right? So this was the first tool that I wanted to cover. I'm going back to the slide itself. I'll just briefly share the pricing so that people can use it. The free version, you can create any kind of SOP or training using the browser. Like you don't have to pay for anything. Like you can create unlimited number of things. You cannot export it as a PDF, but I've tried just printing it and then exporting it as a PDF. It does almost same job, right? Like, so you can do that. In the paid version, however, you can do the whole screen. So let's suppose you have a custom tool which cannot be opened by browser, or you want to use the whole screen and create SOPs and all, then you can use the paid version. But I think the free version is very nice that you can use most of it, and exporting it as a PDF or certain other things is there. Otherwise, you have to use the Scribe or link. They do that so that they can also market it and reach out to more people. So that was the first tool that we covered. The second thing that we are going to do is, like, so if you guys remember in the first session that we had, right, we learned how to write like Sashi Tharoor, right? Now we are going to study on how to speak like Sashi Tharoor, okay? So I have a question for you. How many do you have to speak in front of audience regularly, right? Like, so for example, you take trainings, you take presentation, you pitch for sales. How many of you do that? Okay, I see Nikita raising her hands. Anyone else? Okay, I see some of yeses for there, right? Do you know the concept of speech coach? Like, so corporates, for example, hire speech coach who can actually help them figure out on how to pitch, right? Like I know, for example, in MasterCard, the BD teams used to be trained by speech coaches so that they are able to understand how to sell best and how to kind of navigate certain things, right? There is if I tell you there's a free AI speech coach that you can actually use, wouldn't that be really great? So I'm talking about Udly. Udly is a personalized AI speech coach, where you can actually record your videos, record yourself or anyone, and try to understand what's working well in your pitch, in your presentation, in your interview, and then figure out like what are the things that you need to change, right? So I actually used it last week for myself. And what I figured out is that I speak right a lot. which I've been realizing in this conversation as well, right? Like, so I'll go to Udemy, and what we'll do now is that, like, we'll actually see how, for example, Shashi Tharoor is speaking, right? Like, and we'll try to figure out like what Shashi Tharoor does great, what Shashi Tharoor doesn't do great, and we'll figure out like what are the next steps for him, right? Like, so if any one of you are going to meet him, I saw one of the organizations having an event with them, so you can definitely tell him that too. Okay, so I'm going to practice. I'll just share. So how this tool works is very similar. I'll again sign out. Right, like you can basically go to get Udemy for free. You can enter some of the details, whatever it is, right? Like, so you can just continue with Google and all that, and it takes you there, right? Like nothing fancy or any setup that's required. It's very similar to how you sign up for any new tool in general. So here I'm going to sign in. I'm just signing in with the account that I've already created. Okay, let's wait for Google to sign in. Great. Step. So if you see, it helps you in sales, it helps you in other things as well. Right? Like, so I'll not record myself right now. I'll go to Udemy, and then I'll go to this. So I think there's some bug. It doesn't allow you to upload upfront. You just have to click on Udemy maybe one more two times. So it shows you a demo video, and you can see sample reports as well, right? Like, so it's something for Elon Musk where they try to analyze how is he speaking, right? Like, so what are his speaking styles are. So you can go to analytics and see what his word choices are, what was his delivery, where did he took more pause, where did he smile, what could have been done better, eye contact, centering, pacing, and all that, right? So we'll do that for Shashi Tharoor. We'll see how Shashi Tharoor does that. Okay. So I've downloaded a video of Shashi Tharoor from from internet, something that was posted on YouTube. Okay. This is getting uploaded, right? In the meanwhile, I can show you the analytics for how this Elon Musk thing was, right? And we can kind of look through the same. So if you see here, Elon Musk take pauses, which is actually nice because he's giving audience time to digest what he's saying. I'm also using this now. Then Elon Musk is smiling, right? Like, so he's smiling during these times, which is really helpful and all that. And he's able to take it forward. There are few things which he could have done better. Eye contact, his total time on screen was lesser, right? There was few things around centering, how he could have positioned himself and all that, pacing, loudness and all. If you see, he was speaking a lot, which was actually sometimes not readable in general. In the meanwhile, I'll see if I got that upload. Yes. Okay, so it will still take a minute. This video is probably a little longer. Okay, it's 15 minutes. So it might take one or two more minutes to come in. Let me go to him and see a sample report again. Now we'll see what does the coaching section do, right? Like, so it tells you, right, how you can improve things, right? Like, so what are the questions? Like, here our audience, your audience might ask you. So it's telling you what are the follow-up questions it can expect. So it's trying to understand things as well, how you can concise things. So a lot of times we see a lot of filler words. We are not trying to figure it out, right? How you can concise it. What are the key points that our audience might take away, right? Like, so working hard, especially when starting a company. And if you see these, and if you study their reports well, you'll find that it actually happens based on how you change your tonality, how you're kind of going about it, and all that. And it provides an overall summary in general as well. So you can start practicing and then taking it out from there, right? Like, so here are some of the follow-up questions and all as well. Now let me go back to the library and see if it is there or not. Okay, it is generating. In the meanwhile, can I understand, right, like whether this is helpful? Like, do you think this might help you or any of your team members figure out some of these things? And in case anyone has any questions, can you look that? Okay, so someone asked, are these sample video pre-uploaded? Yes, the Elon Musk video was pre-uploaded. However, you can upload videos. Can we upload videos? It can take up to 2 hours of video. I think 2 hours of video is like quite a decent amount of time. In one free subscription, you can upload, I think, up to 5 videos and up to a certain hour length, right? Which is around 10 hours, I believe, or so. So you can kind of do that. And then you can understand what it is, right? Like, so that is all. Right? Any other questions? Thanks a lot for sharing that. It is helpful. I see for 5-6 people have mentioned that. Okay, so let's see how how Shashi Tharoor did, right? Like in whole of his. So his speech, so what his strength was. So his speech actually effectively engaged the audience with compelling storytelling and rich historical examples. So it looks like Shashi Tharoor is a great storyteller, I think, which we all know, right? What I think growth area for him was that in order to engage more audience, he should have incorporated more vivid imagery, something that the people are able to relate to and then kind of take it forward. It entered what are some of the questions that audience might come up with so that you can practice. So in case you are giving up a presentation and you are very nervous, you can kind of do a dry run and you can put those things and then you can actually basically identify what are some of the questions that might come away, right? What are some of the things that people will take away, right? And then let's go to the analytics. Word choice. So he was using very few filler words, right? Like my filler word percentage was actually 27%. For Elon Musk, this was 15%. And for Shashi Tharoor, it was 1%. So this is like quite great. He was non-inclusive. So I think that's quite nice, right? Like he hardly had weak words. So I think leaders like them definitely know what is there. There was 29% excess. This for me was around 70%, right? Like, so definitely doing a lot better job, right? There were some repetitions, right? And if you read these settings, they'll tell you how to reduce repetitions and all that. And there were some sentence starters and all that. So these are the things that could have been done better. In terms of delivery, he was speaking fine. Like pacing variation was quite well. If you see during the whole time how much words he was speaking, all that aspect, he was taking proper pauses so that people were able to understand. He was smiling. Eye contact and centering is something that he should have done better, right? So see, you can actually analyze like top professionals, what they're doing great. Someone from your industry, right? Like who you probably feel is doing a great job, and then kind of compare it with yourself. And then you can figure out a right next step on what you can do better. In fact, you can train your team better, people who are doing sales calls. So they actually have things for interview, presentation. You can select, I have not selected the option of sales. That's why it's probably not showing me, but I've seen videos of where it helps you understand. You can also analyze sales calls and all that in general, right? Cool. So if I now talk about pricing, so pricing has 5 recordings free of cost. You can, if your free version is done, just create an account with the second ID and kind of go about it, right? Like, so nothing fancy in general, right? Yes, and then there's paid version which you can use for anything over 5 recordings. I never understood why someone would take a paid version because they can create another account, people would hardly use it more than 15, 20 times, right? But okay, till the time they're giving free stuff. So yeah, that was Udemy. Was this helpful? Can I? Okay, so Hardik has a question. Does it also support audio files? So yes, Hardik, it supports audio files. However, it will not give you, like for example, the pieces on like your visual cues in general. So you can go here and you can actually upload, like for example, audio files as well. So here's video and here's audio. So you can actually upload audio files too. In case you don't want to upload it, you can actually have conversations or interview directly in front, right? Like, so you don't even have to do certain changes and all and go from there itself. Okay. Great. Moving on. How many of you use Excel? I saw Hardik putting a thumbs up so quickly. I don't know whether it was for last one or this Excel thing, but just two of you. Oh, wow. Okay, I see Ashwin raising hands, right? Like, so, like, I don't know if you are not using Excel, I don't know how you're working because I haven't met a single person, at least a white collar job, who's not using Excel, right? Like, so one of the very hardest challenge in Excel or Google Sheets or any of these visual cues is right finding the right Excel formula, right? Like, and like once you find it, like very similar to this cat, you feel like the smartest human to walk the earth, right? Like Excel formulas, when it's very messy sheet and all, it becomes trickier, right? Like, isn't that the case? So there's a solution, and it doesn't just work with Excel. It works with Visual Basic. It works with any other coding tool that you have, which deals with data. So I'm not talking that you are writing a code in Python and you can figure out how to go about it. If there is any data involved and you want to transform it in certain way, right? And you, whatever tool you are using, you want to identify the formula. There's a tool which can actually help you figure that out, right? So this tool is called formula.dog. I don't know why they put formula.dog, right? Like, so, but yeah, over to the founders itself. Cool. So this is how the whole website looks like when you actually open it. I wouldn't suggest just typing it here because once you put certain thing in, it asks you to log in and this doesn't get saved, right? Like, so I will first suggest just going to log in. By the way, this tool is completely free. Do not hesitate to use it at all, right? Like, so just go into login. I don't know why sign up is not coming in. I think it's probably because I've already signed up. Okay, yeah, you click on get started and then you create the whole account and all that. So that's okay. I'll show the flow of how this goes. So you have to enter your email address. It will ask for your password, or you can just continue with Google, enter the account, and then I think it will sign you in, right? Like there could be one or two steps, right? Like asking questions about you because they are also trying to collect data about their users. Okay, because I have already signed up, I don't think they asked for anything. They have a use for free section where that's a 1 week of formula.free. Okay, it is free, right? Like whatever I've used, it's already free. Like you hardly have to use it. Like so, let's think of Excel data and let's figure out like how to do that. Okay. Now some context on how to do it. Formula Dog doesn't know your Excel, right, or your Google Sheets, right? Like it's not God, and that's why I think so. It cannot know the cell numbers and all that. So what you have to do is you have to give little bit of context, right? Like for example, and they have added some best practices here already. That's why I didn't do that. So you cannot say some cells when cell equals a certain word, right? Because it doesn't know whether that cell is existing in A, B, C, or D, right? So think of this. Here you only have to talk in terms of column names, right? That's the name which Formula Dog understands. And there is what you can actually try to do it, right? And if you remember in the first call itself, people who have done it have already shared how to do a whole complete data analysis using ChatGPT advanced version itself. So there you don't even have to put column A, column B itself. Just upload the file, ask for the like what you need, and it will give you answers. But again, like you cannot use it every time. There are certain constraints and all, right? Like, and probably you don't even have ChatGPT Premium. So if you just want to know the formulas and all, you can use it. So here, what you have to do is you have to give instructions in the language which Excel can understand or the Excel formula generator can understand, right? So you have to give the column names. You have to give conditions or things like that. You have to, for example, if you're joining, you have to give conditions like, I want to join the tables where the details of table A is this and details of table B is this, right? So you have to write those things in a plain, simple English, right? Okay, does that make sense? Can I see some thumbs up, like if you understood that? Okay, I just see one. Great. I hope it was clear. So I'll probably take a couple of examples and then take it forward from there itself. So I'm opening my sheets and probably I'll try to see some data that we have, right? Something that I can share. Okay, let's leave this. Let's assume that I'm looking to join two very complex tables where the data is little scattered. So I have three tables with different data in each table. The first table is about volunteers with volunteer ID in column A, volunteer name in column B, and rest of the other attributes in column C to F, right? Okay. And I have another table with I have another table in different sheets. So let's do complicated, right? Like, so many a times you have to do VLOOKUP in the same sheet, which is easier. But what if they are in the separate sheet itself with a different name, right? So I have another table in a different sheet named sessions. I'm using an example from like education background. The sessions are for the sessions are where volunteers are taking session or taking class for students. I'm probably adding a little bit more context. The table contains volunteer ID in column A, student ID in column B, and their session rating in column C, right? The third table is of student data where we have student ID in column A and their class in column B. Give me Excel formula to join these three. Set and share a primary table volunteer ID, volunteer name, student ID, student class, and class rating. Okay. So this is what I've done. I've given three tables, right? One table is volunteer table where I have volunteer ID and volunteer name. Second table is sessions where I have volunteer ID, student ID, right? And the session rating. And third table is student data where we have student ID and student class, right? Like, so I'm asking it to generate a formula for me. So if you see, it's trying to understand the text that I've given. And if you see, it has given me the complete formula, right? Like, so it is VLOOKUP. And if you see, it's adding in a different sheet as well, right? Like, so A2, which is the first column, which is the first cell. Then take data from volunteers, right? And it's assuming there are 100 fields. Put the second row, which is basically the volunteer name itself, and then false. And then we look up volunteers data, then one, which is the volunteer ID, right? Okay, sorry, A2, volunteers A2 to F. Then we look up B2. B2 is basically your session. So it's looking from sessions data. Look for B2, which is your volunteer name and student ID. And then from there, identify these. And then we look up to the student data and then figure it out, right? So we can just copy paste this itself and then figure it out. If it is complicated, you can debug a little bit of it, right? Like you can use ChatGPT or you can use your Excel understanding and debug a little bit of it. But it has created the whole formula that you want to, okay? I have tried creating pivot formula as well. It has created it. It needed some basic level of debug a little bit, but it is able to do that, right? Like, so if you are if you're just thinking there's too many columns, too many data points and all that, you can just upload it and then figure it out, right? However, I would suggest this is still not efficient. The best efficient way, which will also come up in some time, is basically this whole ChatGPT version, AI basic version things, where you just upload the file and do it. One of my college juniors itself, and I've been in touch with them, they have a startup called Say Data, and they are actually creating something right now only for enterprise level, where they are able to analyze data just by text itself, just on the test, just on the data piece only, right? Giving context, it can do MS Excel. If I do Google Sheets, it will change the formula specific to Google Sheet itself. Some of you might be using Airtable. So Airtable is also there. You can use Airtable or Notion. It also has SQL, right, which is really helpful. If you have database and backend, you can do it. If you use Microsoft Visual Basic to kind of interpret these things and all that, you should be able to do it from here too as well, right? So that's there. And it also explains these things. So one of the other things here is, like, if you're not able to understand certain formula, let me see if I can go back to the previous formula. It says, okay. Okay, so I saw this formula. I don't know what it means. I'll just go here and I'll put it. And then, then I'll ask him to figure it out and all as well. So it says the Excel formula generates a random number between this and this, inclusive by using the rand between function between these two numbers as argument. It then adds a random decimal number between this to generate random integer. The random decimal is generated using this function itself. So if you have a formula, or if it generated a formula and but you don't understand it and you want to figure it out, you can basically put it here and then take it forward as well, right? Like, so it helps you understand and then take it forward. Okay. Does that make sense? Was this helpful? Can I get yeses, thumbs up, anything like that? Everyone is out of figure, so very hard for me to understand it. Okay, Abhijit raised hands. Abhijit, do you have a question? Okay, now I see some yeses in the chat box. Okay, Vasudev says super helpful. I'm doing already. Thank you, Vasudev. Yeah. Okay. Great. Cool. I'm happy to take any questions if you have here. However, as I mentioned that I also wanted to share on how VDoBit can help you figure it out if there. Yes.
Sorry, there are some questions that I think you should take. Is Mrinal is asking if we can't use it for rows and we can only use it for columns. Is that true?
No, you can also use it for rows. Generally, what I've seen Mrunal, right? Like the way most of the Excel work works is it's on row. However, sorry, it's on column. However, you can add specific rows and then give context, right? So it's not about rows and columns. You can use it for anything. There's no such issue, right?
And there is Abhijit who's asking, does it assume some output validation requiring it to ask and mark this was incorrect? I'm going to mark the question so you can read
Okay.
it.
Yes. So Abhijit, how AI works is right. Like it is also training itself, right? Like so, AI is kind of an advanced version of LLMs, large language model, which exists only when you have trained on certain things, and it is able to kind of think through it and then take it forward in very simple terms. So when you give feedback that this was not correct, right? The LLM model in the backend is actually trying to identify what was wrong and it will rework to figure it out. I'll give you a very basic example. When ChatGPT 2 was released, right, and it is way back, the model was really bad. It made him play a game, right? The game was to actually drive a car. What happened is in the first few iterations, the car would hit the road bump and all that. I'm happy to share the video later on. Over 10,000 iteration, it figured it out. Why it figured it out? The whole the whole goal was given to it that you get a plus point only when you don't hit the bumps at all and you go smoothly, right? Like so, that was the goal given to that particular chat GPT on how to kind of take it forward. Right? Sorry, GPT-2, not chat GPT, GPT-2, which is the basically the model behind it. So it kind of learned over time on what's working, what's not working, what was correct, what was not correct. So generally, what you'll see is that most of these models kind of getting better over time. Uh, Also, just to add, like for example, ChatGPT 3 when it exists, they're not training it forward, right? Like they are training it back end and then they'll come up with new versions. But these bots and all, whatever is there, right? Like, so they are training regularly just to figure out on whether they are doing the right job. So I would suggest just mark it incorrectly and then debug it a little bit to figure it out how to take it forward. Okay. Okay, Abhijit says, I do understand, but validation on large data set will create the same anxiety that we are trying to. That is true, Abhijit. But what I've seen is that at least this Excel one doing great job for most of the use cases. So you can just use it. It will definitely save you time because it might take more time to write a formula, which is very complex in general. So that is also something that you can do. At the end, for a user, I'm trying to optimize my time, right? Like, so if it is saving time, I'll probably use it. So something that you can leverage and all. And over time, you can definitely see much better performance and all, right? So these are just starting days, half a year itself, right? Like these bots and all would be doing quite great. Yeah. Any other questions? Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Abhijit. Great. If there are no more questions, right? Like, so one thing which I've realized over feedback and talking to some of you in past as well is that a lot of these use cases are very customized, right? And you have to find the right solution tool and aspect, and not just in AI, but in the tech space to figure out what works and what doesn't, right? Like, and I think this is a pain that's there. You can have general sessions where you can understand some of these tools, but identifying what's working for your organization or not is always a tricky thing, right? Like, so we as We Do Good are coming up with something called as Tech and AI Audit Project Series. What are we doing here is that like we'll be actually having volunteers who are experts in tech as well as AI domains to come with you, sit with you, try to understand what are the different operations and different aspects that you are doing, and what are some of the things that can be improved via these tools itself. If it is a tool, they'll help you set it up. If it is a customized solution, they'll help you create a BRS solution, right? Without selling much, I'll just share some of the examples of things that we have done in past. So one example is of Bachpan Foundation. It's a foundation based out of Chandigarh, trying to create awareness towards sexual abuse. So they have a lot of volunteers, right? Like every month there are 200, 300 volunteers coming in, and they were not able to process the data smoothly. They were handling it via Google Sheets. Too much time was going into it. and all that, right? And certificate generation, couple of other things and all, which was really tricky in general. So what we did, we matched them with a couple of people who were really good with new technology and what are the tools required. And they understood the operations for different vertical, then identified operational processes that can be automated using tech under their budget. Bachpan, I think, pays a total of 600 rupees every month. And they are able to save around 1.5 employees' salary just because they don't have to do Google Sheets, certificate generation, and all that, right? Like, so that is what it held for Bachpan itself. There's another organization, Claylab, that we are still working with. So Claylab was looking to scale their operations. They are thinking of creating a whole platform itself on how they can take it forward and all that. So our volunteers came and figured out like what type of solutions would make sense for a mentorship program and created phase-wise a BRS document, business requirement specification document, which can take it forward. Similarly, we did it for SEF, where they were a simple education foundation, where they were trying to streamline their not data through databases tools, but they were trying to create a system for teacher training module and figure out how this can be done best. So we figured out a person who can do that for us. So we are doing this whole series. Like we have few very well-known mentors. So we have Rishi, who is around 19, 20 years experienced with Accenture, trying to figure out things. We have Shubham Agrawal. He's a AI/ML engineer from LinkedIn, 8+ years of experience, currently working with Claylab as well. Anirudh, he leads Amazon Music vertical. Like his team actually manages all the back end of Amazon Music, right? Like what next song to give, how does the process look like, and all that. So he's also there, and we have a whole ass team like who'll be helping you with this. The part of this project will be like we'll try to identify what are some of the areas there. We'll match you with volunteers, a techie, a AI specialist, and a mentor. They'll figure out what are some of the things that's required, and then they'll create a business requirement document, which can really help you figure out like how to go about it and all. And this, like some of the things that this document can really help you is that this can help you apply to programs like JP Morgan Tech for Good, right? Like so. Unless you have a structured thing, JP Morgan Tech for Good develops platforms and all free of cost, but they only do it when you have a clear vision and a structure on how you can do it, right? So this helps you apply to those things. You can go to Tech for Good organizations and apply to such other programs like NASCOM, Microsoft, and other of things like that. You can reach out to vendors and find the right quotation, right? I know a couple of examples where very big organizations have invested 20, 30 lakhs. They're not satisfied with the solution and then they are trying to change it. So these things really help you figure out like what you need is, because at the end, vendor is always trying to sell. And if it is a low tech thing, the skilled volunteers itself can help you improve that stuff. So for example, establishing any small tools which is already developed, no code tools and all that. So everything can be done over there as well. So Ishanya will share the link for that in case any one of you are interested. Feel free to like kind of apply and we'll be happy to help you from there itself, right? Cool. And last, we'll be sharing a feedback form. I would request each one of you to please fill the feedback form. It really helps me and the IB team to understand like what's going best with these sessions, how these sessions can be improved better. So that will be really helpful. I'm here for any questions, right? If there are any. Cool.
Thanks,
Megha
thanks,
shared the
Shubham.
feedback form. Yeah.
Yes.
And Ishanya shared the interest form for tech AI audit projects where you'll be able to figure things out. Right? Okay. Great. I see no further questions. Okay. Over to you, Megha.
No, thanks a lot, Shubham. I see people saying we should share the recording ASAP. So maybe next few minutes if possible, but not possible. Sorry, Vikram. I think at max by tomorrow morning we should be able to share the recording with you. Please do fill the feedback form so that if you have any questions. If you just got the Zoom link and did not register, then it also helps us to send you a recording, right? If you have any more questions, maybe we can wait for 2-3 minutes more. If not, we could close. Yes, Vasudev, please go on.
Hi, Megha, maybe you should use the recording as a bait to collect feedback.
What thing as sorry, recording? Oh, yes.
Only those who fill
Thanks,
feedback will
Vasudev.
receive
Only
the
standing
recording.
recording if you have filled out the feedback form. Thanks.
Yeah.
Ishana, maybe we can open the feedback form and see how many people do we need to send the recording to. Please don't hate me. I didn't suggest it. Yes.
Megha, quickly, so for the last session, is it possible to share that as well?
The
Again,
recording?
I will obviously fill out the recording. Yeah.
I don't know if you filled out the feedback form for the previous session, Vasudev, but we have already
I'm trying to
shared.
remember. I'm trying to remember, but I can't
We've
remember
already
if I
shared
did.
a playlist where you can find all the EIB webinars, and we also shared 2 specific YouTube links in the chat. I can reshare it for people to watch.
Sure.
Shubham, can we stop recording?